let's look at index and match. So let me put index here and match here so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? So let's talk about match. So it is very similar to VLOOKUP, right? So you will have to give it a lookup value, which is this, lookup array, which is this, okay, and then exact match always, and then what it gives you is number 2. And what is this number 2? This number 2 is this G6, which is 2, in this array, which is this array, is located exactly at what point, right? And it is available at the second point. Okay, let me make it more clear. If I change this to 3 and press enter, you would see the immediately number change to 3. That means 2 is available at 1, 2 and 3rd position in this array. Okay, now let's use this number with index function in order to get the value C, which is the corresponding value of number 2. So index, and then we get the array from where we have to get the value. Okay, and then row number, which is right beneath this cell, which is H7, and then we press enter, right? So index is exactly opposite of match. In match, you say where is this value in terms of position in an array, and index does what? This is the position and this is the array. I want to get the value at this position, right? So these two combined will give you the effects of VLOOKUP, exactly like VLOOKUP, and you will get the corresponding values. But how does it happen? So you take the lookup value, you go 1, 2 and 3, the 3rd position, and then you say I want the 3rd position value in this array, okay, using index function. And that's exactly what VLOOKUP does at the backend, right? So let's use these two, okay, at the same time so that we understand it better, how to use it properly. So I'll use index, and then I'll say this is the array, right? And how will I get the row number? I will get the row number using match this number from this array, and there you go. So there seems to be a problem. Let's see. Index has this. Okay, match requires 0 as the exact match, and there you go, right? So 2 in the lookup value has the corresponding return value as C, right? Let's change it to 1 and let's change it to 3, right? Let's talk about the drawbacks now. So VLOOKUP had 2 drawbacks. One was the duplicate value, okay, which still remains the case here. So if I change this to 3, still it is giving me the value B, which is the first occurrence, okay. So that problem has not changed, okay. But if you would think carefully, it's actually not a problem with the formula, it's a problem with your data, right? VLOOKUP or index match formulas are not supposed to work with duplicate values. You always have to use unique values, or the column with the unique values, in order to get your desired results, right? So in essence, the first problem I told you is not a problem, it's actually a flaw in your data model's design, right? So try and avoid using the columns with duplicate values, right? So let's change it to 2 again. Okay, now let's reverse the situation, and what I want to do now is I want to take the value in return value column and get the corresponding lookup value. Okay, so that means the second problem that I told you about VLOOKUP, from right to left it's not possible to get the values, can be fixed very easily, right, using index and match. How do we do it? Let's, instead of 3, let's say I take C, right? C obviously will give an error, right? So let's try and manipulate everything. Okay, so in index, instead of E4 to E6, okay, I'll take D4 to D6, okay, which is the array from where I want to get the value. Okay, now G6 will remain the same because this is what I'm looking for in this array. Okay, and 0 will remain as it is because it's the exact match. And there you go. Now let me remove this to this, right? So now if I choose to say B, or if I write down B, you will get the corresponding lookup value. Okay, and for A you will get the corresponding 1. So this will solve a lot of your problems if you face any in terms of using VLOOKUP, right? But there's another thing that you can think of. Instead of using index and match, you can still use VLOOKUP. The only thing is you have to rearrange the columns in the way you want to, so that the lookup column always comes at the leftmost side of your table, right? It's an easy fix. Okay, but there's another formula which takes of which is a combination of all of this and more, right? So that you can get around all these problems and get much more features in terms of playing with your data, right? So let's look at XLOOKUP. Okay, so I'll put this value again here. Okay, and let's put in the formula now, XLOOKUP. Now let me come here. Okay, now let me come here, equals to XLOOKUP, right? Lookup value is this. Now lookup array, where are you going to look for this value? Like in what array? I can choose this, right? Return array, from exactly where are you getting the value? So this one, right? So it's exactly like the inputs are exactly similar to index and match, if you would notice, right? So whether it is left or right, it doesn't matter. It will get you the corresponding value, right, from the return array, right? It could be in the same table, it could be in a different table, and so on, right? What will happen if it is not found? So I can simply say not found, right? Match mode, exact match always, right? And then you have search mode, right? Now if you are someone who have studied computer science, you would know that there are different types of searches, right? And here, let me just choose one as it is first. Okay, let me go here. Okay, now search mode will give you 4 options here: first to last, last to first. So in case you want the values to have more weights from bottom instead of the top, in case you have duplicate values, you can choose to go from first to last or last to first, right? That will give you the opportunity to change the values accordingly, like in case you have duplicates. But again, that's not a problem with the formula, that's a problem in your data model. Or you can choose binary search. Binary search is a search method that is very efficient in terms of searching very fast. If you want to know more about binary search, I would suggest you to do some research on the subject. But for now, we don't want to use this in this formula, right? So let me delete the last two inputs because these are optional. I will still keep if not found just for completeness because I'm going to show you the use case, right? So let me put an enter, and before I do, let me go ahead with the explanation once again. In XLOOKUP, we are going to look for the value G9, which is A, in E4 to E6 column, which is this, right? And then get the corresponding value from D4 to D6. And if it is not found, it will say not found, and press enter. And you would say the corresponding lookup value from this return value came up, right? I can start changing it. You would see B has 3 and C has 2. And if I put D, which is not available, you would say not found, which is the fourth input.